It's way too early, but I'm going to tell you who I think is going to be the favorite to win certain awards, and then the team that it would be a pleasant surprise if they won these awards. We talk about that today on Locked On NFL.
The barbershop is open and Tony Wiggins has a chair for you. He's ready with some real NFL talk. The local experts of Locked On bring their expertise, and Wiggy is ready with his clippers and shears. Sit down and enjoy. The new Locked On NFL starts now. Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Man, you heard what she said. It's your team every day here on Locked On NFL. We thank you for making us your first listen. I am Tony Wiggins, and he is David Harrison. And what we're going to do here in the barbershop today on this beautiful hump day is take you through some of the big stories from around the NFL and some of them that we create. And I think today we created and curated this one on our own. But David and I will go over this as we always do in about 30 minutes. I'm going to tell you right now, today's show and episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets. Win your first $5 bet wins. We appreciate the everydayers joining us. New people, we're glad to have you here too. We'll give you a reason to come back. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to end this thing by talking about who our likely rookie of the year is and who it wouldn't surprise me who could also win the Rookie of the Year. We're going to do the same thing for the MVP, most valuable player of the National Football League. But football is a team sport, so we're going to start this thing off talking about the champs. The champs. Who's going to be the champ, and who would, if they made it to get to that podium on the Super Bowl, who would really, really surprise you? It'd be a cool story. David, I'm going to start with the Chiefs. The reason why I'm going to start with the Chiefs, because 5 out of the last 6 years, they've been in the Super Bowl, and they've won 3. Who would bet against them doing the same thing? Not me.
Right. No, I mean, you have to. I mean, the Chiefs immediately have to come up as fast as the Eagles have to come up because they're the defending Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs have to come up in that conversation. I mean, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately, are kind of getting into that territory where they might be getting a little stale. And I don't mean from a public perception standpoint. Like, people have been hating on the Chiefs. They've been hating on Taylor Swift. You know, like it's weird because these two worlds collide. Like, you got people who hate on Taylor Swift from a pop culture standpoint, and you got football fans that hate on the Kansas City Chiefs because they win too dang much. And then they come together in this algorithm or this amalgam. I'm messing up the word.
Whatever that word is.
It's a mixture, right?
Yeah.
It's a mixture of just hate. And now people just hate the Kansas City Chiefs and everything that has to do with them. But yeah, the Chiefs have to be in that conversation. For me, if it's, would you want me to give who? You want me to give who I would not be surprised to see win the Super Bowl?
I want you to save it. I want you to save that one. I want you to save it because I'm gonna let you give it to me in about 2 minutes, and you're gonna let that loose because I got this other team. I know you're gonna let loose on me about that one. But listen to the Chiefs and what you describing is greatness fatigue. People can't stand when people are great and it's in your face all the time. Listen to my man. Listen to the crew from Locked On Chiefs. We're gonna talk about Kansas City and why they have a good chance of being really, really good again.
I mean, there is definitely, you know, between Patrick and Andy Reid talking about the fact that they want to be pushing the ball more downfield. And it's not simply just taking more shots. It's not about getting the deep ball back. I mean, Chiefs would love to have that, but they want to get away from what last year turned into, and really maybe the last couple of seasons turned into, which has been, you know, Mahomes being more game manager and checking things down and kind of taking what's being given. I mean, it's been circumstance that's forced the Chiefs to do that. I mean, they've had so many injuries the last couple of years. Things didn't work out the way that they designed either of the last couple of seasons. But now I think what the emphasis is that they're planning for the best.
Look, they do need to go back down the field. It's funny when you get these quarterbacks that turn into game managers out of necessity, even though they got physical talent. Where's Cam Newton at talking about it now? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's really nothing wrong with being a game manager as long as you manage the game to victories, and Chiefs seems to do that all the time. Now, you got another team you were going to tell me about before I get to this other team. My if they make it, it wouldn't surprise me because they have talent, but it was kind of still surprising because they ain't done it in a long time. Who you talking about?
I mean, look, I'm going to get called a homer a little bit.
I knew.
Go with the Washington Commanders. Listen, this team was 60 minutes from going to the Super Bowl just last year.
60
And
bad
they
minutes.
did it.
60 bad minutes now.
60 bad minutes.
Okay.
You know what? It wasn't 60 bad minutes. It was like 25 bad. Nah, it was like 35 bad minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Like let's not get too crazy with it. Yeah, every Eagles fan watching just went 55-23. Anyway. But look, the bottom line is the Washington Commanders got to the NFC Championship game last year. So when you're on the doorstep, it's not unreasonable to say, you can knock through the door this season. And when you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, it's actually pretty rare in the NFL to have a first-year offensive coordinator win a Super Bowl. A team with a first-year offensive coordinator win a Super Bowl. It's only happened about a handful of times in NFL history. So history does not lean towards the Philadelphia Eagles. However, they're incredibly, like, if there is an offense that is built to overcome that historical fact, it would be this Philadelphia Eagles offense, right? With Saquon and everything else. We're going to talk about him a little bit later as well. So I'm going to go Washington Commanders just because I think that obviously the continuity, entire coaching staff is back. Jaden Daniels, another year, or well, not another year, but a year under his belt, the opportunity to come back here with that experience. The offense has gotten better up front with Laramie Tunsil, receiving core Deebo Samuel. The defense has gotten better overall. I don't know. I saw some questions on the pass rush, right? I think they took a step back in the pass rush, but they certainly took a step forward in the run defense. And look, when you're talking about toppling the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to be able to stop the run. If you stop Saquon, you can stop the Eagles. If you can't stop Saquon, you can't stop the Eagles. And that's exactly what the Commanders learned last year. So, yeah, so the Commanders would not surprise me to be in the Super Bowl. Like, that's just facts.
So the NFC East, that I used to call it NFC East, you just mentioned Philly, who's obvious, right? You talked about your team. Oh, boy, I got a surprise for you, who I wouldn't be shocked if they made the Super Bowl totally. I'd be surprised a little bit. I want you to listen to this one.
This could turn out to be one of the best trades in Cowboys history. If not, if it doesn't work out, then I have a hard time seeing the Cowboys offense being good enough to get them to the postseason. That's how much they're relying on this George Pickens trade.
Yeah, I think the two biggest X factors for the Dallas Cowboys are Tyler Guyton and George Pickens, because I think when you look at George Pickens, this is an elite deep ball catch guy, right? This is an elite play on the ball with the contested coverage type of guy. I think that's something that the Cowboys missed severely last year. Dak Prescott, I think, could thrive with that kind of partner opposite of CeeDee Lamb. And I think that this is something that could work out well. And I'll say the one thing that gives me at least hope in terms of what George Pickens can do from a off the field standpoint is the fact that he came in here with a
David, I present that to you without comment, sir. Please tell me what you think about me saying the Dallas Cowboys would surprise me, but it's reasonable because they have so much talent.
Yeah. Why do I got to be wearing a blue shirt when you got to bring this up? I picked the wrong shirt color to wear today. Listen, they got talent. Here's the reason the Dallas Cowboys are not going to be championship caliber. One, they got some serious injuries on the defensive side of things. I don't think their defense is going to be championship caliber by itself. Certainly championship caliber players, right? Like Micah Parsons is a championship caliber player. Make no mistake about that. But the defense as a whole just doesn't terrify me as a group. If you can neutralize what they do best and their best one or two defensive players, then you can beat them. You can put points up on them. I think you can score at least 24 points on the Dallas Cowboys defense. Offensively, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, I mean, that is a terrifying duo. I don't care who you are. I don't care what mode of football you're playing. That is a terrifying duo. Here's the problem, Wig, and you're going to make me down-talk Javonte Williams. I'm a huge Javonte Williams fan, have been since he came out of North Carolina. Really thought he was going to get it together in Denver. It hasn't worked out. Until it works out, it's hard for even me to sit here and say that the Dallas Cowboys have any sort of running game. And when you don't have a running game, you can't run the clock. You can't bleed the clock. And when you can't bleed the clock, no matter how many points you put up, your opponent is always going to have an opportunity to come back because you're going into game-killing mode and you're going 3 and out. You know what I mean? Like you're going 3 and out and you run maybe, a minute and a half off the clock, and then they get the ball right back. That is not conducive to winning consistently. So if the Cowboys can get the best out of Javonte Williams, then yeah, absolutely. I mean, as much as Commanders fans are going to hate to hear me acknowledge it, like, yeah, they could be a threat. But until they get that running game figured out, I mean, we saw it with the Commanders time and time again last year. As long as you give teams opportunities in the NFL, you can lose.
I'm glad you brought up the running game because that's going to lead us right into segment 2 where we talk about the MVP and the importance of a running game. It could benefit more than just running backs. I'm going to tell you why in just a second here on Locked On NFL. All right, today's show is sponsored and brought to you by FanDuel. No doubt about that, man. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling, man? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. You can even go with them if you do it early enough. Whether I'm placing the same game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, we discussed the team aspect of the NFL awards, possible champions, surprise champions that were reasonable. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the New York Jets are going – that would surprise everybody. It might surprise God. I'm being honest with you, right? The thing is it has to be within reason. We're going to move to the NFL MVP award. You mentioned the running game. The person I'm going to mention statistically probably should have been the MVP last year. But with a running game, it could really make life better for Joe Burrow. And there's some people in Cincinnati that believe that they've addressed it. Check this out.
There isn't a ton of risk with Chase Brown. But if he takes another step, we could be talking about an offense that is just so tough to stop. But if he takes another step forward, and he is what Dan Pitcher said he was, a top 10 back, if the Bengals truly have a top 10 running back, they've never had, I mean, you could make the case that they have the best quarterback in the league, best receiver in the league, another top 10 receiver, and a top 10 running back.
I don't think George Pickens is a top 10 receiver, but I get James' point, and he's right. Joe Mixon was hanging around top 10 when he was in his prime with Cincinnati. But a good running game could make Joe Burrow seem even more effective and efficient and could really, really help Cincinnati instead of people just saying, well, he only got all those yards because that's all they can do. I think Joe Burrow has a really, really good chance, even if it's because people knew he kind of got screwed a little bit last year, and it'll be in their conscience.
I mean, look, Joe Burrow is arguably the most valuable player on his team across the National Football League. I mean, Josh Allen certainly, has a case, and certainly other guys have cases, right? But yeah, Joe Burrow is certainly one of those guys. Look, I'm confident enough to say I think Chase Brown is a top 15 running back right now. Without even stacking and going through all the NFL running backs, I'm confident to say that Chase Brown's a top 15 back. Is he top 10? I don't know. We'd actually have to have the conversation.
Yes.
I'm confident to say he's top 15. T. Higgins is not a top 10 wide receiver. I'm sorry, guys. Look, the NFC East alone has 4 or 5 wide receivers that are better than T. Higgins, and that's before you add Jamar Chase. So right there, T. Higgins is already 7th, and we haven't even gone through the rest of the divisions. Anyway, but the Cincinnati Bengals offense is going to be incredibly hard to stop, which is why we didn't have time in segment 1. But the Cincinnati Bengals were actually the team that I was going to pick to be my surprise Super Bowl winner. That wouldn't be such a surprise if they can get their defensive stars in the building, and that offense is what that offense is, which it is because it is. The Bengals could certainly. I mean, I would certainly, and Bengals fans who watch this program would love being able to tell me, remember all that trash you were talking in the offseason, how dumb they are? Well, that's a really dumb Lombardi they're holding, and I would smile and take it. Yep, you'd be right. My MVP pick, Wig, this is a bad episode for me, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Daniels won the MVP award.
My man,
look,
my man.
If
listen, that's why I love you, dog. I don't think you're being biased at all. But you know what? You gonna sit. But the thing is, you don't even care. You're just gonna be like, "This is how I feel," and I know y'all gonna feel some type of way. By the way,
100%.
if you ever get jumped coming out of a bar, I'm gonna point people to Cincinnati. I'm saying it's Jake and James. That's who did it. I don't care where you are. It's gonna be Jake and James. That's who. But
I'm just like I admitted that the Dallas Cowboys, if they can fix their run game, are a very dangerous team in the NFL this year. I'm going to be honest with you, 100% of the time. Listen, if I tell you 3-4 years from now, Jaden Daniels is going to be considered one of those types of quarterbacks like a Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, are you surprised? Are you surprised to hear me say that Jaden Daniels 3 or 4 years from now is going to be talked about in the same breath with those two types of quarterbacks? No,
I would not be surprised. I wouldn't.
Well, guess what? Both of those young quarterbacks won MVPs in their second NFL seasons. So if Jaden Daniels is on the path right now to be one of those types of quarterbacks, then he's on the path right now to be the next MVP winner in his second NFL season. That's the reason that you put together. Plus, like I already mentioned, the improvements on the offense. Cliff Kingsbury is back. His quarterback's coach is back. All the continuity in the world. And 10 nationally televised games this year, Wig. We all know, what does this voting have to do with? Voting is a popularity contest. Jaden Daniels is going to have 10 opportunities to showcase his talents on the big stage. So if he doesn't win it, it's not going to be from a lack of opportunity. Okay. Bottom line. So he would not surprise me. You want to know who would surprise me?
Come on.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley should have won the MVP award. And this is for all you people who want to talk about me being biased. Here's a Philadelphia Eagles player for you. Saquon Barkley should have won the MVP award last year. I think he would have won the MVP award if Nick Sirianni had let him go get that record that he deserved to go after.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the NFL loves, you look at Coach O'Connell, Coach of the Year this year. I'm sorry, but nah, bro. What they're basically saying is he should have been the Coach of the Year last year. The NFL loves to kind of play catch up. And I say the NFL, but really it's the AP. They kind of love to play catch up. The Executive of the Year this year from the Detroit Lions should have been the Executive of the Year for 2024. He should have been the Executive of the Year for 2023. So guess who the Executive of the Year should be for 2025? Because he should have been the Executive of the Year in 2024. That's right. Commanders General Manager Adam Peters. Anyway, this league, AP, and y'all know the media, we love to play catch up. Saquon Barkley should have been the MVP last year. So Saquon Barkley would be a surprise, but not such a surprise this year.
You know what? You're right. They should have gave it to him, but they didn't because he's a running back and they love quarterback. So guess what? They ain't going to give it to him this year, but they might give it to somebody that plays the same position. Check out Matt Derrick, Locked On Lions.
But to me, Jahmyr Gibbs has got to get even more touches this year. And if it takes away a little bit from what Montgomery does, so be it. I love David Montgomery. Don't get me wrong. But Jahmyr Gibbs is a special talent. And you love the fact that Dan Campbell gave him some love and said he had a great OTAs as well. He wants to keep getting better, despite making the Pro Bowl last year, being an all-pro player as a running back. The sky is the limit for Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think, why not shoot for trying to get to Saquon's level and trying to put up those type of video game numbers like Saquon Barkley did last year?
I think Jahmyr Gibbs has a chance to get 1,500 yards and average 7 yards a carry doing it because he's such a big play threat. What about you?
I love Jahmyr Gibbs, man. I absolutely love Jahmyr Gibbs. And if he puts up those kind of numbers, that definitely put him in the Super Bowl conversation, in the MVP conversation. So yeah, I would love to absolutely see it. You want to know, Wig, you want to know why we, and I mean we as in a media, just general media, why we suck. So who comes out here every year talking about the MVP award is just a quarterback award? Who really talks about that every year in a sense that everybody hears it? Like if you're working at your local office and you talk about it, okay, you and your friends hear it, but who talks about it in a way that hundreds, thousands of people hear it?
Media.
We do. We talk every year. The MVP award is just a quarterback award. The MVP award is the AP NFL Most Valuable Player Award. What's the AP?
Associated Press.
What's the Associated Press? The media.
We suck, dog. You're right.
People that like give ourselves a flu shot and they say, "Ow, that hurt. Why'd you do that?" Like we're dumb.
Yeah, we are. And when you say we suck, I was gonna be like, "What do you mean? This ain't French." You got
Locked On.
Yeah, but no, you're right. As a whole, we got some. Look, if we take a family portrait, it ain't but 2 or 3 of us, and I said us, that's gonna look good. Everybody else gonna look ugly. That's just the way it is sometimes in the media, and we got to understand it. We're gonna get the Rookie of the Year. I've been accusing this man of being biased. I'm about to double down on being biased, Jack. No. Rookie of the Year. You can count that. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's all about Travis Hunter. We'll get to why in just a second here on Locked On NFL. I can tell you what, Travis Hunter, he's going to play offense. He's going to play defense. But one thing I can tell you about him, I have seen rookies for over 2 decades come into camp and look like rookies. You will not hear him say anything like, I'm getting used to the speed of the game. No, the speed of the game got to get used to him. Travis Hunter is not scared. And because he doesn't have that mental block that a lot of rookies have, I think he is a shoo-in to be Rookie of the Year. Barring injury, of course. We hate talking about that stuff, but it is a gladiator sport. Check out Peacock and Williams and talk about the move the Jaguars made to get Travis Hunter.
I want to start with a question about Travis Hunter, Matt. And this is a really good question from Dave, who says, if Travis Hunter is, quote unquote, just a Pro Bowl receiver, Did the Jags overpay for him? I.e., does he have to play both sides of the ball to be worth it? Because if you're a Pro Bowl wide receiver, that's a hit, right? That's a huge hit in the NFL draft. That's an expensive position. In his second contract, he'll be making $30-40 million per year. But they did trade future first. This was a big swing to go up and get a special talent. If he's just a Pro Bowl wide receiver, is it a bad move by the Jacksonville Jaguars?
First and foremost, I don't know that he'll be a Pro Bowl wide receiver. I don't know that he'll be a Pro Bowl corner, but I think he'll be very, very good at both. I think a lot of what happens with Travis is going to come down to the moment. That punt return that he takes back in a big game. That crazy catch where he out-jumps somebody and snatches the ball. That interception like the one he had when he came off of his man. I think they were playing TCU and he jumped the route. And everybody, those things are just naturally instinctive. I think him coming to the NFL is just him coming home to where there's a whole bunch of guys that are athletic just like him. And I don't think he's scared one bit. And that's why I think he has a leg up on everybody to get that MVP. I mean, that Rookie of the Year.
You know, the problem that's going to come with Travis Hunter when it comes to Rookie of the Year is it's not just a singular AP Rookie of the Year award. It's an offensive Rookie of the Year and a defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And the conversation is going to happen if you're wanting to vote for him for, say, offensive Rookie of the Year. Are you taking any of his defensive achievements into consideration? Are you taking any of his special teams?
Yep.
And people are going to try to combat themselves from doing that so much. It's almost going to naturally convince themselves not to vote for him, right? Now, to be honest with you, if he has such a good year, you know, all around anyway, like you got to give him one of those awards, right? I think it's got to happen. So Travis Hunter is offense or defense, right? But I'm gonna say offense because I know you're going offense for your Rookie of the Year candidate that would be a surprise, but you wouldn't be surprised by. So I'm gonna go defense with mine. So I'm gonna let you finish your offense first, and then I'm gonna give you my defense because my haters are gonna come out of the woodwork after this one.
All right, everybody gonna sit here and say, Wig, you must have been dreaming of being a running back when you were a kid instead of being a quarterback. Yeah. Be honest with you, I wanted to play long snapper. You know, I knew I wasn't built for all of that foolishness. I just wanted to hike the ball and go too much. That's the easiest job in the world. That's hard, right? Because it is hard. No, seriously, I do believe that Jim Harbaugh wants to play a certain way. And when I watched them last year, the one thing that they seemed to be missing was a game breaker at running back. And I think they got one. I'm higher on Omarion Hampton than a lot of people, not the people that Locked On Chargers. Check this out.
In a bit of a stunner, the Chargers go running back with their first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. This is David Drogemeyer of the Locked On Chargers podcast, and the Chargers take UNC running back Omarion Hampton, 22nd overall. And wow, if you look at this guy's stats, he was dominant in college football. Over 1,500 rushing yards back-to-back seasons, 15 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons, and he averaged over 5.7 yards per carry in his collegiate career. Anytime he was toting the rock, he was getting results. And listen to this, the Jim Harbaugh player through and through. Omarion Hampton racked up 1,222 yards after contact, which ranked second in all of college football last year. Now the Chargers have a very powerful and dynamic running back group with Najee Harris and now Omarion Hampton. But for more on the draft and for more on the Chargers, please check out the Locked On Chargers podcast, your team every day.
Now, listen, I watched him and my comp was somewhere between Steven Jackson, not Stack 5, the basketball player, but former Ram Steven Jackson, and Ike Forte. That's a pretty good combination. I said, you put them together and you come out with Omarion Hampton and then a coach that wants to run the ball like Jim Harbaugh. I really do believe that he's going to help that team. He's going to help Justin Herbert, and it'll give him somebody who's a bit of a game breaker.
Yeah, my concern with Omarion Hampton is Jim Harbaugh, to be quite honest with you, because and you know, look, people can change, people can shift their perspective, right? But when Austin Eckler left Los Angeles, he left the Chargers because, and these are his words, not mine, I'm paraphrasing, but these are his words that I'm paraphrasing. They want a running back who's going to be a bell cow. So they want a primary running back, and they want physical, tough, contact-based running attacks. That's a lot for a rookie. That's my only concern. Like, can his body hold up to it? You got Najee Harris. Like, I mean, you heard David kind of reference, right? Like, you got two backs that you should be using. So again, things can change, and maybe Harbaugh is smarter and he's going to learn, and maybe he'll use both backs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is he wants to be a physical running attack type of offense. Rookies have a hard time adjusting to that a lot of times at the running back position. So we'll see. I don't wish it on him, obviously, but it's just my concern. All right, Wig. Ready to go defense?
Yep.
So to counter the bias argument, Abdul Carter, New York Giants. I mean, for one, he, I know he's one of the, if not the top rookie, defensive player, like sole defensive player, certainly. But he's playing on a Giants defense that is incredibly aggressive. They love to get after the quarterback, and they've got players. They got Dexter Lawrence out there. You got Kayvon Thibodeau. You got Brian Burns. Like, you can't block everybody. So Abdul Carter is going to have opportunities to get one-on-one matchups. He's going to have opportunities to win and get after the quarterback. So he's certainly going to have an opportunity. I think he's got to be the guy. If it's not Travis Hunter on defense, it's got to be Abdul Carter, right? Mm-hmm. The guy that would be a surprise, but would not surprise me, is Washington Commanders cornerback Trey Amos. Listen to me. 2 of the last 8 defensive rookies of the year. For the record, I don't have an offensive rookie of the year candidate from the Commanders. I just want to put that out there. Yeah. Defensive rookie of the year, 2 of the last 8 have been cornerbacks. All right. Those 2 guys, Marshawn Lattimore and Sauce Gardner. They averaged 3.5 interceptions and I think 19 PBUs, if I remember my math correctly. Those are reachable numbers, right? The defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year awards, I will give credit, are not just quarterback awards. I know the last 2 offensive rookie of the years have been quarterbacks, but running backs have won it, receivers have won it, right? So they're not position specific awards. So I give them credit for that. But again, you go back to the 10 national televised games. That's going to get attention. If a guy like Trey Amos can come out here, get 3 or 4 interceptions and get 20 to 25 PBUs, he's a long, athletic, ball hawking, aggressive corner playing in a press man aggressive defense. He's going to have the opportunity to make plays because who's playing on the other side? Marshawn Lattimore. And I know that A.J. Brown, the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike Evans, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went after Marshawn Lattimore last year. Those are different animals.
Yeah.
You play the Green Bay Packers. You're playing the Las Vegas Raiders, the New York Giants, et cetera, et cetera. They're not going after Marshawn the way the Eagles and the Buccaneers did. So who are they going to go after? They're going to go after Trey Amos, which means he's going to have opportunities to make those plays. If he can make those plays, especially on Thursday night games, Sunday night games, Monday night games, Christmas Day, right? Imagine Trey Amos, rookie out there, getting an interception on a pass intended for George Pickens off of Dak Prescott on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, bro. How much more do you need for a campaign, right? So, yes, I cover him, but there is sound logic behind the possibility that Trey Amos would be a surprise. But because of, if you look at the situation, the context around his rookie season coming up, there's a possibility.
Yeah, it is. And also, I'll mention the third corner, Mikey Sandristle. That dude can play, man. So
who should have gotten a lot more rookie of the year buzz last year.
All right, hold up now. Hold up. Let me I'm just joking. No, but he is pound for pound. He's one of the toughest guys in the National Football League. And
I'm not saying he should have won. I'm just saying he should have more.
Yeah.
More
I'll tell you what, if we were doing most improved player, there's a guy that's set up good for it, man, because he kind of let people down a little bit. Washington Commanders, my bad, improve their interior run defense. People are going to be talking about Javon Kinlaw as a comeback player or most improved player. So maybe we can throw Sonny Jurgensen and Joe Theismann in there too. Just
let's do it.
I'm
Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, man. You talk about my childhood, and they got them old uniforms. That's the new ones coming back too. I love those uniforms, man. I love those uniforms. Hey, look, man. You want to find out more about these teams heading into camp? There's no better place to do it than Locked On NFL Scouting with Kyle Krabs and Joe Marino, because they break it down like it can't get broke down anywhere else, and they'll make you a smarter fan headed into training camp. Make sure you check it out. Tune in to my man David Harrison on Locked On Commanders as well. He's always there. And of course, tomorrow Tyler Rowland will bring you another edition of the Madman early in the morning here on Locked On NFL. Make sure you tap in. For David Harrison, I'm Tony Wiggins. We had a blast doing this. We had fun. We're going to probably talk a little more after this because we're going to talk about some more about the Washington Commanders. We'll see you next time here on Locked On NFL.